Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, Massenomics listeners. We're back for episode 234 of the Massenomics podcast. We are the lifting podcast about nothing. And Tommy, that intro, what I was thinking about, actually Swim Hack brought it up in a post this week, and everyone knows the Geno, Massenomics. Mm-hmm. Everyone, of course, knows the Kaz, get strong, stay strong, use your strength. I think everyone's pretty familiar with the Donnie Thompson, you make things better than they are real life. Probably the most underrated part of the intro, or the least talked about, which probably needs to be talked about more, is Matt Haddon from Pioneer.
I think so, yeah.
What does he say right there?
If you don't follow them, Instagram,
y'all do it.
Y'all do it. Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah. Right. That is probably the one piece of that
if you don't watch the video, you're probably like, I have no idea who's talking right there.
Right. So that would be the owner of Pioneer. That would have been a clip from an interview with Matt at the Arnold, like 2017, maybe.
I mean, paying all that money to go to the Arnold just to get those clips for the intro. Yeah. I think it paid for itself.
Here we are 4 years later and they're paying it off. So episode 234 of the Massenomics podcast, the 4.5 year anniversary of the Massenomics podcast. Yeah.
Time flies.
Well, I only thought we were going to make it to 4.45 years.
It was that final 0.05 is what I was worried about.
Is what we made it to. Yeah, home stretch now. Mm-hmm. Halfway there, halfway to 9 years, which was
Once
our goal.
Once you knock out the first 4.5, the next 4.5 flies by.
That's right. Today's show is brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. Straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is online. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Great thing about them, we have a discount code with them. It'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition membership for the life of your membership. That discount code is MASS, M-A-S-S, in all caps. Someone today just sent me a message that they were signing up, sent me the screenshot, and we're using MASS, MASS, in all caps. I think that was Big Alex, if I remember right. If not, we'll pretend it was. So still using that. MASS, 5% off at Hybrid Performance Method. This episode is also brought to you by Texas Powerbars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about the Texas Power Bar and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. And this episode is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home to the ground block deadlift slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20%. That's a hefty savings.
It is.
A lot of times you'll see these at 5, 10, 15, 20% though at Lifting Large on any Lifting Large branded products by using our discount code, and that's MASS20 at checkout. Those are our sponsors for 234. We got a really cool guest coming up today.
Very cool guest.
Big Travis Ortmeyer.
We got shorts to talk about. We got Strongman stuff to talk about.
Yep.
We got beverages to consume, podcast reviews to be had.
Yeah.
We might as well just start making this podcast 3 hours, Tanner. I know we say it a lot.
We could. We've gone to 1.5 fairly regularly.
I mean, 1.5 is like we have to limit ourselves to get to 1.5.
We started this thing as like a 30-minute podcast. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what we would. 30 minutes.
To me, 30 minutes is enough to get started.
Yeah, we'd roll the intro.
That's essentially the intro.
We'd have to just jump into underrated.
It would make our goal of having an entirely ad podcast much easier to hit.
That's true. It would just be the intro, the ads, and overrated, underrated. That would be the podcast.
That's probably all people really want to hear.
That's
anyways.
true. Most of them come for the ads.
Yeah.
They just fast forward through the rest of
They
it
come for the
together.
ads, they stay for the over-under,
Yeah.
and then finish with the ads again.
Yes.
Tanner, do you ever, it's a very odd food thing, do you ever have instant mashed potatoes?
Not really. My wife.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
though?
yeah. My wife cooks quite a bit, and she makes a lot of potatoes. You know,
I've been kind of in this instant mashed potato kick lately. You know, you buy, it's just the pouch.
Yeah.
You heat up the water, you put them in. I remember the first time I make them, it's like, these flakes do not turn into anything.
Yeah.
Boom, seconds later, you got instant mashed potatoes. And I tell you what, they fill the gap in when you just like, I need something else with this to really complete my meal.
No, that's one of the things my wife will be. I used to be, before I was married, I was very much like a bachelor. I mean, I was still into lifting, so I was eating in a certain way.
Yeah, it was.
But I would make like tacos was a thing. I could make ground beef, have some cheese on it, have a tortilla, you know, it kind of fit my, I wasn't cutting for a bodybuilder. So, I was trying to lift more. Could eat those, I don't know, 6 nights a week. I have the same breakfast every single day of the week. It just required filling in the gaps at lunch, maybe like a couple, it was a rotation of like 3 or 4 things.
And then your wife said, normal people eat more than 2 things in a week.
Well, and she's turned me into a little bit more of a like snob in a certain way that it's like, she doesn't like instant mashed potatoes. She wants certain things. She doesn't like, I don't know. I'm blanking on them. There's like 13 of these things.
I
and
totally
like,
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, and even some people, it's like, oh, if you're going to do mac and cheese, you got to make real homemade mac and cheese. But there are always those staples of kind of like shitty instant foods that are like ramen noodles are just one of those that it's like, ramen noodles are always good to go back to every once in a while if you don't regularly eat them.
I've never liked, I've had, this is a funny thing. I've had ramen noodles. I don't know if I've ever made ramen noodles.
Really?
My son eats them all the time now. My roommate in college ate them all the time. And I was never like just noodles was never going to cut it for me.
No, to me, it's always one of those things where it's like, okay, you're making your food, you have your other stuff, and you're like, this meal seems just a little light. Ramen noodles can fill the gap.
My son eats a lot of ramen noodles. He also watches TikTok, and we were doing some at-home projects. And I didn't really know this is a thing, but we had to fix something that was like made out of concrete, and it was kind of chipping and cracking. He's like, Dad, if this is on TikTok, all you do is you take the block of ramen noodles and you shape it and add water, and it hardens.
I've seen
that's a
I've seen
thing,
those
apparently.
on I've seen those videos before.
Right.
I didn't ever know the ones I saw if those are real or if it was
I really don't know still if that's real, but I was like, I think I have seen that before.
That is funny.
Yeah, so ramen noodles more than one purpose. But the point being that she's kind of like spoiled me in a certain ways now that for some things I'm like, well, I kind of want the good potatoes now.
Another one that fits this mold, box stuffing. Box stuffing. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about I make pork chops. You get pork chops.
Yeah.
Maybe you put a little gravy, a little instant gravy in a sauce.
Yeah. Instant gravy.
I probably just sound like I eat like terrible. Yeah. You get the instant gravy, but I mean, really, it's just gravy, right? Just flavored water, almost thick flavored water. And then you heat up the water and you have the instant stuffing. That is always surprisingly good. Yeah. It doesn't seem like something in a box should taste that good.
They know what they're doing.
They got their food scientists are on it.
They haven't gotten America fat by not making stuff that doesn't taste good.
True. There was no accident there. But we need something a little more refreshing right now, Tanner.
Yes.
And that
I am thirsty right now.
And that is a can.
Yeah. The old Pavlov's dog thing is kicking in right now. My mouth feels pretty dry.
Okay. No looking.
So this is a full-on segment.
This is a full-on segment.
We're not just having a beverage.
This is not just two guys enjoying a beverage. There's work to be done here. And I'm curious what you're going to say here.
Oh, I think it smells like peaches.
Okay.
I'm just smelling it here. It's in a can, a 12-ounce can, a normal short-shaped can. I'm getting peach smell, but now I'm going to take a sip and see where I go from there. It tastes pretty peachy to me. Let me try that again.
And what if I threw you a curveball here and said there's 2 flavors?
Okay. That's what I was also trying to think. Sometimes, I get this initial flavor, but there. You know how there's other fruits. There's like your primary fruits, and then your secondary ones that are really similar.
There's
to
always
the
a
primary.
secondary fruit.
Right.
You can't just have one fruit.
Right. So it's peach something. Let me try. Trying to think of what goes with peach, because quite honestly, as I'm trying it, all I taste is the peach. But we've done peach pear before, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think pear has as strong of a flavor. And apparently, peach and pear go together. I don't know if I really knew that prior to sparkling water.
Can't you get like in a can mixed peaches and pears?
That's true.
Come in a can
That's
together?
true. Yeah. I guess I'm going to say peach pear because I don't know what the other flavor is, and I've seen the pear before, so I'm going to say peach pear.
Would you like to take a gander?
Yeah. Well, it looks peach colored.
And
peach and honey.
Not
even a fruit.
I really didn't think you were going to get the second.
That's almost like in vein of cucumber.
And this is the peach honey.
Going honey. That's one of those flavors where it's like, yeah, we're just putting that
that's what it's like. There's more than honey here, or there's more than peach here. I'll buy that.
Yeah,
honey. I don't know.
It's
maybe?
like flavoring something in cucumber. It's like okay, all right. Now that I know that's honey, I want to take a sip
in for that follow up
and see, do I taste the honey?
It's like there's a smoothness at the end. Maybe I don't know.
I'm gonna have to say no. I do. You could.
It doesn't taste. Yeah, I don't know.
It tastes good.
I would still say
flavor.
Still think I would give this a 4. JD
I think
Power
I would give this.
This
tastes good. This also tastes strong.
This is pretty. The ahas bring you to Flavor Town. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, I like the flavor of this one.
Yeah. I had one of these last night for the first time ever. I'm like, Tanner's going to be a real treat tomorrow.
Aha.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, it's good. I'll give it a 4 JD Power and Associates awards also.
And we don't just give those out. And we give out 3.5s, but we don't give away 4 entire awards very often here.
No. Good beveragino though. I like it. Aha. So are you kind of on an aha?
Right I feel like I've hit every LaCroix flavor so hard. And I can't seem to find different flavors. I guess maybe I need to start going to Walmart. Maybe they have different flavors, and
we still haven't been able to secure that flavored water sponsorship. So maybe if we keep spreading around the different brands, we'll get somebody
is looking for that.
Yeah,
really up and coming social media partnership.
Right. And that's what
are we those people. All right, Tanner, we have to just briefly talk about the Blue Lift shorts because I think people would like to know that we might have spent more time talking about them on last week's episode than they were actually in stock.
And by the time the episode came out, there were no blue shorts to be had. We talked about them quite a bit. They were gone days before that. So
what day did they come out on?
I think Thursday.
Oh yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
We would have released them Thursday of last week. Mm-hmm. The podcast episode didn't come out
Tanner.
The earliest until Sunday, and by early Friday morning, they were sold out 100% every single size.
And really within like an hour, every size was sold out except one.
Yeah,
and it was just because the sizing got switched on us just a little bit.
Yeah, we're pretty I keep track of the sizing thing, and that's one of the things I do. It's a very
complex algorithm.
Well, I do base it off of how we've done before, and there is. Because it is annoying. It's if anyone that runs an apparel business, which probably isn't very many people, there's this thing with sizing. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but you take a t-shirt, for example, extra small to 4XL. Say you're ordering 50, 100, or 200, or 3 of them, whatever it is. It's annoying if it doesn't work out very well if you get done and 7 of the 8 sizes are sold completely out and you have 20 of one size left and you keep it around for that reason. It's annoying. It doesn't work good. It clutters up your site. There's several reasons for that.
Or like when the only sizes left are on the 2 extremes.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, but if you have a lot in those, it's.
So we try to avoid doing that. But then like in this Blue Lift Shorts scenario, it goes back to our thing I think partly because of COVID-19 and stuff, there's issues of us securing blanks. And we talked about the shorts and this was no different. So large was the size that we needed more of and couldn't get more of, so we only had what we had. And so large sold out. Large was gone within, I don't even know, an hour.
I was
the larges were gone.
It was very fast.
Right.
It might have been less than 30 minutes even.
So that sucked for anyone that
wasn't just sitting on Instagram all day.
Well, and a couple people messaged me that even and said, "What are these people doing? Like they're just sitting there waiting for this to come out." Like,
well, there were several people that you had them on the website. There was a very brief window where they were on the website and they hadn't been posted yet, and people were already buying them
before that,
which makes you think. Do people have some alerts set up? Are they just constantly on the website?
In the Instagram story,
you
there's a thing.
Say you did give a teaser, didn't you?
And it was a ticking, a countdown. And I've done that one or two other times before, and I know what people do. People are privy that it might not go onto the website the second the countdown strikes, that it may have to get on there before that.
It is a little bit of an insider
So
tip.
people see the countdown and they're like, I'm going to check this a couple times throughout the day. That's kind of cheating, but...
But in this case, you're not getting punished for cheating.
Yeah, so,
you're actually getting rewarded in this case.
The blue lift shorts were a limited run, like we had said, and those sold out exceeded what we thought was going to happen, I would say.
Yeah, we thought it would take a couple days. Like we thought a couple days. We didn't think like an hour would be.
We've never really had a single product that sold quite like that out of the gate, where it's just like...
Just the one getting hammered that hard, yeah.
Right. And we got those all out the door by, like I said, they're sold out by Friday morning, and I think every single one of them went out in the mail Saturday. So I think by Monday, Tuesday, everyone had their in the blue lift shorts gang.
I like people
everyone was checking, checking in with their numbers.
Someone, I can't remember who it was, they had, what was it, a picture of their daughter, and they took it out of the frame and put the certificate. I laughed hard at that one.
That was number one.
Okay.
That was Big Ian,
yes,
I think
yes.
Number one. He was the first to buy a pair. Yeah.
I saw that last night, and I was laughing looking at that.
Very funny.
That was good.
So because they're, they sold so fast, I wish we had more to sell, but we did do the limited run thing, so we kind of have to stick to that a little bit. But maybe there'll be other lift shorts things that we have eventually to quench that thirst.
There's always going to be other lift shorts
things.
That's
true.
It's just how long do people have to wait?
So we did get to restock the regular lift shorts and everything, although... As we're sitting here today, those have been selling a lot, and it's going to be hard for us to get. I already know it's going to be hard for us to get those back. Mm-hmm. So if you are after the lift shorts or the lift shorts 2.0 or the far less heralded deadlifter shorts, that's a thing, right? That the deadlifter shorts are kind of like the
outsider,
the
third wheel.
I don't know what's an appropriate.
Not saying they're not popular.
Yeah,
they're just not. I mean, come on, there can only be one lift shorts.
Yeah, that's right. I kind of like to play that up as they're actually disowned. They're not in the family.
They're just outside looking in.
Yep. So that was our lift shorts news.
Yeah, exciting stuff. We should do a couple podcast reviews because we always forget about those.
I think so. And the big reason we need to get back on this, I think, once we've stopped reading them, is the reviews become a little stagnant.
They do. And the road to 300 ain't going to happen by itself.
And I think I checked yesterday. The
road to 300 is literally paved with 300 podcast reviews.
That's right. We have to get to 300 podcast reviews before we get to 300 podcast episodes. We need more than a review per episode.
Yeah.
So this is 234.
And what are we
episode
at right
234? 244.
Oh, okay.
So we have a 10 review head start, right?
Pace.
Yeah, we have a 10 review cushion, but that gap will narrow. Like these last few weeks, there hasn't been many reviews, so we need to do what we can to keep that
number moving.
Yes. Okay. So review number 1 is titled America's Finest, and this is from Briggly Wiggly. I guess this actually shows how long it's been since we've read podcast reviews. It's July 4th, and I have the privilege of sitting in the lake enjoying a crispy oven-hot LaCroix and savory apple pie while listening to J.D. Power and Associates' most highly decorated podcast. If I had my druthers, I'd do this every day. #road to 300.
Very nice.
Well-crafted one there. A lot of good things in there.
That sounds like a perfect 4th of July.
Yeah.
Take me back.
2.5 months ago. This next one is titled Head Chairman of Northeast Ohio.
Wow.
So I don't know where that fits in.
That sounds very prestigious.
Yeah. I imagine he has an important office. I've been emailing LaCroix demanding an apple pie flavor, but haven't gotten a response yet.
You know, that is actually kind of surprising. That's
that should be a sparkling water flavor.
Apple pie isn't the most natural flavor.
Right. Yeah.
Apple is a fairly natural flavor.
Apple pie.
Yeah. They don't have any dessert flavored beverages.
True. Anyway, this Better Than Real Life podcast has taught me how to stay strong and how to use my strength. But most importantly, it's taught me that LaCroix is best served at a crispy 98 degrees. Thanks for what you do and all the rest. Must have been hard on the hot LaCroix back in July.
Must have been. Well, it's the summer, things are hot then.
That's true. Okay. Last one for this time. We're just going to do 3 a time too, so we're not just a full podcast review podcast.
Okay.
This is from Gandhi's Biceps, and it's called Creme de LaCroix. Like a compass whirling about in an electric storm, these guys bring the energy in no particular direction. Their natural essence, hawking their wares. Meld that with the effervescent bubbles of bulging ads, and you have one crispy cast. You can spend days combing through the vast archives searching for content. True dynamos of the Dakotas. Dynamos of the Dakotas.
That is good.
Yeah. That was a challenging.
I thought they were going to say you can spend days looking for content and never find anything, but but they didn't hit us too hard.
Has a good thesaurus.
They are good.
Yeah.
That was very well
written.
written.
Did you ever
painted a real word picture there?
Right. When you have to write papers in high school on, I don't even know if this is a thing in Word, would you check the reading level? Like it would summarize your reading level. And if you go through and like thesaurus, like 13 words in your paper, it'll go from like a 9th grade 9.4 to a like 11.5.
That'll jump it.
Yeah. Just by, I think the software that teachers, the plagiarizing thing that when I was in high school, you could plagiarize.
Oh,
and everyone did. You cannot do that now. Everything automatically goes through.
And huge swaths of our books were just online, in their entirety, the answers to them. It was crazy.
But now even like the teachers have prior student papers database. So if you even plagiarize someone's from 2 years ago, it's red flagged. And it's like I can't remember what that program's called that like all teachers use in high school and college, but you can't get away with that crap anymore.
No. Wouldn't it be just the worst being in high school right now? not saying just that, just everything.
Oh yeah. It's like the You Betcha guy. We were watching some things, and it's like, 2020. With everything going on,
with all the stuff going on,
with everything going on.
I mean, I don't know how you should feel about it, but with everything going on.
Yeah. And you can't, and that is what you say. It's like, high school would be tough, with everything going on.
Yeah, with everything going on now. Can you imagine graduating college right now, trying to find a job,
with everything going on?
Be terrible.
Those are funny, but like, can you not picture? I've not heard someone say
also,
those
is there
things.
ever not a time when people say that though?
Well, that's kind of the thing too. Like everyone's like, can't wait for 2020 to be over. And it's like, well, was your last year good? Like, what is last good one you've had?
You were just killing it last year, I'm sure. Yeah, like the people that say that, I'm sure were just crushing 2019.
Although 2020 in particular,
you do got to say I got a baby out of it. I can't complain a whole lot,
but I mean, with everything going on,
with everything going, all things considered, everything going on, I think we're ready for 2021.
It's good year. We can't recap 2020 yet, I suppose, but it's been a good year for Massenomics too.
It's been a great year for Massenomics.
With everything going on.
with everything going on, it's been very
with
good.
Everything going on, it has been pretty good.
Literally, there's been a lot going on for Massenomics.
With everything going on. So those were the podcast reviews. I don't even remember what exactly we were talking about there, but
stuff.
Yeah. With everything going on, it's been tough to remember.
Everything going on and stuff. All right. So we did have to talk just a little bit about some strongman stuff.
Not too much. Let's not get carried away. We do have a strong, we're also going to talk strongman in the second half with one of my personal favorite strongmans in Travis Ortmeyer. But before that, so this is a thing that I stumbled upon. I wasn't fully aware of this. It is the Shaw Strength Classic. So what is the Shaw Strength Classic, you ask, Tommy? Is that what you asked?
You're reading my mind.
Okay. It's going to take place December 12th this year. Brian Shaw.
This year with everything going on, they're going to...
With everything going on, I guess...
They're going to sneak it into the end of the year, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of things going on, but they're going to do it. It's going to be December 12th. Brian lives in Colorado. Brian has like 1.5 million YouTube subscribers.
Really?
Not specifically related to this, but
that's
he has
a lot.
quite the YouTube channel.
A million is a lot on YouTube.
I bet he's making like actual money off of YouTube.
Oh God! If he's not, then he's definitely
like, do you
doing
think
something wrong.
At 1.5, do you think? And he puts out like a few videos a week. You know, like he has a series. You know, he probably has a couple employees behind his YouTube.
If I had to take a wild,
6 figures or
uneducated guess, I would say he's probably not making much from YouTube directly. It's all of the sponsorship and affiliate things that come with that,
and probably most importantly, his own.
And then yes, if it
his
ties
own
back into his
apparel
own
and
brand,
his
yes,
evolution and stuff like that. But but anyways, in Colorado, December 12th, this is going to be the first. Sometimes people say first annual. I think first annual is by definition does not make any sense.
Yeah. Would you say that's redundant? No, that's not redundant. Would you say it's an oxymoron?
I think it's an oxymoron, isn't it? It's the first. It's just the first one. And he doesn't know yet at this point if it's going to be a repeating thing or not. He said it's just kind of this thing he's trying to put together. He wants to try it out this first year. But some of the details intrigued me quite a bit. So it's going to be December 12th, and it's going to be kind of like at his home. He's built this big gym, and I think he is making the money because he recently built like this new home in Colorado, and then I watched a little bit of his YouTube to catch up on this that's going on. He bought this like cabin in the mountains in Colorado, cabin that's like gotta be I don't know, $750,000 home.
Yeah.
You know, a second.
Okay, so it's a house. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said cabin, if you meant like it's like a shop or a
no,
cabin.
he bought this. I'm using air quotes.
So
like
it's
his
a house
second
in the
home.
mountains.
Yeah, his second home has to be a $750,000 house. I would think. You know, I don't know what the market is there.
I'm
but,
sure in the mountains.
So and it's got this big outbuilding. You know, this giant shop that he's also building a second gym in. You know, he's got his big gym at home where he trains
and with gym equipment prices these days, Tanner,
with everything going on,
with everything going on,
yeah,
it's not cheap.
No, so like some of the events are going to be like in this at his mountain cabin gym, and like I think it's a 2-day thing. Some of the events going to be there. Some of the events are going to be at like his home location. But the cabin one is like a really cool scenic in the mountains thing. Like it would make for cool videos. I think is the intention there.
Yep.
But I'm going to talk about the competitors first because that's the part that makes it interesting.
Okay, yeah, and I haven't heard any of these, so I'm very curious.
He says 10 competitors, and these were the 10 that were confirmed at this point in time. I'm sure it's subject to change between injuries, travel, and everything like that, but he seemed confident that these 10, number 1, himself.
Oh, really?
But he is not going to himself be eligible for the money because
so
what I would
just
say,
competing.
Brian is putting up $25,000 in prizes himself. And then he's looking to sell the stream and get a lot more in prize money. But he himself is just putting up $25,000 right off the bat.
Okay.
So 10 competitors, he is going to be one. That's what the first thing I was curious about. He is going to be out of the running for winning any of the money. Then Big Z, which that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And when he said that, I was like, well, at first he was like, Big Z's going to be there. And I'm like, Big Z's going to be there doing what?
Yeah,
you know?
In what capacity?
Yeah, and he says, no, he's competing.
Okay.
Mateus Kilkowski.
Really?
Like one of the, arguably the best up-and-coming, up-and-coming isn't even a thing anymore. He's just one of the best strongmen in the world.
Yep.
JF Caron, the Canadian. Rob Kearney, world's strongest gay. American log press world holder. Terry Hollins. Him and Terry are buddies from what I've seen, so that's not surprising. Jerry Pritchett. Robert Oberst, who he was on History's Strongest Man with.
Yep.
And then Adam Bishop, who, Great Britain, excellent strongman competitor. And then there was one more from Canada was the 10th guy.
Wow.
Someone that I was a little less familiar
That's
with.
a solid lineup. I didn't think.
No, I know.
I thought this was like more amateur guys.
No.
Like, I didn't think it was all people that actually like compete at World's Strongest Man.
But so Shaw, Big Z, Mateus, JF Caron, Rob Kearney, Jerry Pritchett, Terry Hollins, Robert Oberst, Adam. It's all people that are like all have the potential of making the finals of World's Strongest Man. they're all people that could be on the stage at the Arnold on a given year or at World's Strongest Man finals. You know, could all have a shot at making it there.
Okay, there's already a huge built-in audience.
Yeah.
There. That's okay.
For sure. And then event-wise, there's going to be 6 events, and I don't know if these were all set in stone yet. It's going to be over 2 days. Max log press, a max single log, which he's got a lot. He's got Rob Kearney and Robert Oberst both in there.
Well, Big Z can also.
This is the best log presser ever. Yes. Super yoke. He said a really heavy yoke. A farmer's medley, where it's going to be a couple different farmers carries, and then a Hummer tire deadlift, because Brian has one of the 2 setups of those ever made. That
does he
of actual, like the one that they used at the Arnold, because he made a replica or had it made from the same people that made that Hummer tire. So they're going to do that Hummer tire deadlift, which I think people want to see that event.
It's been gone a while.
Right. And then
does Z have the record for that?
Him or Brian does, one of those two, and they probably both had it at some point in time. Mm-hmm. Circus dumbbell for reps, and then Atlas Stone series it would finish with, and he said it'll be more than 5. It might be like 6 or 7 or 8 Atlas Stones.
Wow.
And then, like I said, the prize money. But I suppose Brian has the pull with all these people. Like, he can get these people to come, so he's
the diplomat of the sport.
Right. So that's cool, though. That's interesting, like, to see how well it goes, because if it goes really well, couldn't you almost see that being
oh yeah, for sure. It's just a really cool event that's outside of any federation. I wouldn't be surprised if some federation tried to take it over, but just the fact that it's kind of outside of any federation, it's just its own like little event. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. And like he was Brian Shaw Invitational.
Right,
is really what it
is. And he was talking about the judges that he's going to be bringing in. It wasn't people that I knew.
But he said they will be recording with their phones while they're judging.
No, what I took from it, it's like, oh, it's not people I know, because it's not just people that used to be in World's Strongest Man. It's actually the people that are, like
judges.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like his description, that's what I took away from it. It's like, like the foremost judges of Strongman, basically, is kind of what it seemed like to me.
The way it should be.
Yeah, right. It wasn't just,
just
the
more
guy that won the Arnold 7 years ago. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting too.
Well, that could be really cool to watch.
Right, but we're only October, November, December, 3 months away. Mm-hmm. And, with everything that's going on this year, it does make me wonder.
It's
Big Z's from Lithuania.
I was going to say, all these guys
Can people from
overseas.
Canada even come to the United States right now?
I don't even know what the rules are on that.
Yeah. And a couple Canadians, Lithuania, UK, and then the rest are Americans, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Mateus. Whereas he's Polish.
Yeah.
So, Lithuania, Poland, Canada, UK. So I would wonder about those people being able to come.
Well, if they can't, that's going to shut the event down.
Whereas, like Big Z is a big deal to me, like having him there, and like if he's going against all these guys,
contests,
right? I know that's what it makes you really want to see, like him going.
And we never got to see him. Like it was always like we were so excited to see, like, will he compete at the Arnold?
Right.
Every year we went, he was getting hurt, so he couldn't.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that will be a cool event, I think.
Wouldn't be surprised to see someone pick that up and film it in all of its glory.
Right, for sure. So maybe that's going to be the new thing going forward.
Wouldn't be against it.
Nope.
All right, we should get to some ads here, Tanner.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, today's show was brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large sets the new standard for customer service within the strength world. Get email responses in hours, not days. They now have live website chat support available during the weekdays, so you can get advice from a real powerlifter with actual platform experience. The Lifting Large team wants to help you achieve new PRs in the gym and on the competition stage. When you're ready to try single ply and make your way to the dark side, give them a call. Lifting Large is home with a ground lock deadlift slipper, and it's always in stock and always ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. That's MASS20 to save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's at liftinglarge, DOTCOM. Ooh. This episode of the Massenomics
Clearing that one out of
podcast
there.
is also brought to you by Spud Inc. and the Master Blaster Rucksack. This piece of equipment is going to be your new favorite enemy. A combination of cardio punishment and muscle endurance is what you have in store for you when using the Ruck Pack sled. Simply strap in the weight and put the pack on to do long ruck hikes, lunges, stairs, runs, and more. When you want a little different type of punishment, simply take the pack off and put a sled strap on the pack and start your sled dragging just by flipping the harness around the plates. This will be one of the most versatile tools you have in your arsenal for building muscle, burning fat, and getting in great shape. It's available in 3 sizes, and custom sizes are available for people under 150 or over 275 pounds.
All right.
Check out the Spud Inc. Master Blaster Rucksack online at spud-inc-straps.com. Today, this episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS, that's MASS in all caps, for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. And this episode of the Massenomics podcast is also brought to you by Texas Powerbars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
That's our ads. Should we try and get Big Travis on the horn?
Let's do it.
Give it the old college try.
Hello.
Hey, is this Travis?
This is Steve. What's going on, man?
Hey, Travis, you are live on the Massenomics podcast with Tanner and Tommy. How are you doing?
Oh, shit. I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
We're doing good. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on. We did get to meet you really, really briefly at the Arnold like two or 3 years ago. I think you were there. It was they were doing something cool at the Arnold Strongman that year. Did they kind of have all a bunch of the past performers come and? Was it? I think it maybe after Terry Todd had died, and they did something
That's
cool.
exactly what it was. They did a brief memorial, and they brought in a bunch of the past winners. So Derek was there, Derek Poundstone, that is. Of course, Big Z. I think Vitautas Lawless, and several other guys. And I just happened to be there working with another group. I got an invite last minute, and then just got to play around the whole time, basically.
Yeah, no, that's really cool for all of you to be in that same group at the same time. Because I did you get third a couple different times at the Arnold, didn't you?
I did, yeah, 2009 and 2010.
Okay.
And then I was fourth in 2011, but I still had that broken ankle from World's Strongest Man.
Yeah,
6 months prior.
And that's something I actually have that on that very thing as one of the items on our list that I want to talk to you about too. But
All right.
Yeah. And also I'm wondering, we didn't pull you away from your Jefferson deadlift training tonight to get you on the show, did we?
You know what? I moved it up about an hour early. I needed to make sure I got that in. You don't want to miss your Jefferson Day.
Yeah. No.
I think Wednesday, Monday's International Bench and Chest Day, right? So Wednesday's the International Jefferson Day.
Yeah. You don't place third at the Arnold twice, skipping Jefferson Deadlift Day.
That's right.
Yeah, you got that right, man.
That's right. No, what we were kind of talking about your beginnings into strongman, and I'm sure you can tell us more about the year. I don't know, it was early 2000s, probably sometime in there that you got started, I suppose. But what we were kind of talking about, and you can talk to this more, is, now in 2020, or even for the last 10 years, and getting into strongman, you just YouTube it, you go on Instagram, like you find out what strongman is in a really big hurry. You follow.
There's almost unlimited resources. You can figure out exactly how to pick up stones, how to do farmers carries the best way, how to get going with a yoke. What did you do?
You are exactly right on that. It amazes me how much you can learn, but then you got to be careful because there's too much information out there. You can get a lot of crap in with all the good, so you got to learn how to filter it out. But, and I love saying this. It reminds me of Kaz, but back in the day, we just figured it out. We saw the World's Strongest Man on TV, and we're like, shit, let's find a tractor tire and flip that. No idea what size we needed. No idea what kind of technique. And in the old days when they used to press kegs overhead, like, well, we could find a keg. Let's just steal one from behind a brewery or something.
Right.
And then, so, we just found essentially what was trash to begin with, and thought, well, maybe we can put this together somehow, or we can just lift this huge metal, rusty, jagged bar with lots of horrifying gashes in it that we can easily rip flesh from our bones. But that was quote unquote strongman equipment back then.
Right.
So, I can tell you one of my first implements to train with was a keg, and we had no idea how to take the spout out of the keg. Those little O-ring thing out. It was me and a guy named Marshall White who, I can tell you a story about him in a minute. He's kind of a pivotal character in my development as a strongman. Not getting into the sport, actually. But he and I, we were like 18 and 17. I think he's like 6 months younger than me. So we didn't have any idea. There was no YouTube, and there was nobody we could go and ask really who had an idea. So we just got a drill, drilled a hole in the top of it, and it filled it up with water. Now, one of the things you don't know when you're underage and not at a bar drinking is kegs are full of pressure.
Yeah.
Yes. This was an old keg that had been sitting on the side of some rundown, dilapidated building that had been forgotten years ago. So we go and drill into this thing, and then all of a sudden the pressure releases and it spews 10-year-old beer in our faces. It was, oh God, dude, it was nasty. You don't forget stuff like that. So, but anyway, fast forward, we filled it with water, and we tried everything we could to plug this hole, and everything would break. So eventually we just got tired of that. We'd stuff a rag in it and then try and press it overhead while it was dripping water out. So after a while, we got good enough at pressing it. We decided we need to make it heavier. So we start throwing chunks of dirt in there and make it, 20 pounds heavier with handfuls of dirt.
Yep.
What we didn't think about was when we started pressing that overhead and all that water that was coming out was now mud coming out. It would just drip down your arm and create this mud slick down the side of your body and the side of your face while you're trying to press the keg overhead. But that was the early days of strongman for us.
Yeah.
We just figured out what we could and learned from our mistakes and moved on.
So would that have been about the early 2000s then? Is that when you were kind of first started?
Yeah, that was something that we had played around with, probably spring of 2002.
Okay.
And then Marshall and I had done powerlifting. I was a bodybuilder when I met Marshall. He talked me into doing a powerlifting meet because I had kind of realized that bodybuilding was not going to be for me at 6 feet 4 inches with long arms and long legs. It was, and you know, to be fair, not to trash any bodybuilders out there, but you know, I went to a show, and when the guys on stage would flex, and then everybody in the audience would go, "Oh, damn, you see that?" Like, that just kind of did it for me right there. I was like, all right.
It's not quite the same effect as deadlifting a car, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's smacking someone in the face and watching them hit the ground. Then you go, ooh, damn. But, you know, so Marshall and I, we went and did a powerlifting meet, and it was the Longhorn Open in Austin, Texas, at UT. And they had like 250 lifters, so they were just running people through on 5 platforms. And we didn't have a clue what the hell we were doing. I remember opening, and I took the squat out, stepped back, squatted it, came up, racked it, and the judge just looked at me with his hand in the air, never gave me a signal. Kind of like, what the hell are you doing? I had no idea. I needed to wait for command, you know. But so I guess, I don't know, maybe that screwed with me. I jumped up a little bit for my next attempt and then bombed the next 2 attempts. So that was it for me. And then Marshall couldn't keep his foot still every time he'd squat, he'd step. And so he bombed out. Now here we'd spend like $500 going to this meet at 19 years old.
Yep.
And we both bombed out, had to drive home with our tails between our legs. But then Marshall got the bright idea of doing a strongman contest. And I remember looking at him when he said this. He said, "I want to go do Texas Strongest Man." I said, "You mean like those guys on TV? What are you talking about? We'll never be that strong. Are you crazy?" Nevertheless, he signed up for the contest in Denison, Texas, which is right on the border of Oklahoma and Texas, right north of Dallas, on August 2nd. So it was hotter than hell out there. And this is 2002. It was 1 week before my 21st birthday. So I remember getting in the car, and we're driving up there. It's like a 6-hour drive. And Marshall keeps saying the whole way, you know, I just don't want to finish last. I don't want to finish last. And, you know, I'm going with him to support, because at this point I'm not signed up to do it. I just wanted to help him out. And I'm trying to talk him out of it. Like, dude, you're fine. You're going to be great. Anyway, we get there, and we're talking to the promoter. Marshall's getting checked in, and the promoter looks at me and goes, "Hey, you know, you're here. Why don't you just sign up?" And so I thought about it. I'm like, you know, what the hell?
Yep.
I drove all this way.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. All right, fine. So I weighed in. I was 227 pounds. And he asked me, he's like, "You want to go on the lightweights?" And, you know, I looked at him. I said, "Hell no. I'm going to go against Marshall. I'm going head-to-head with Marshall. I came up with my buddy. We're going to compete together." And then I remember Marshall looking at me and him going, "You know what, man? I'm glad you signed up, because at least now
he's not going to get last.
Now I know I won't take last." Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And I looked at him. I did not know I really had a competitive bone in my body until that moment.
Yeah.
And I got to thank Marshall. He changed my life.
Yeah.
Because I decided at that freaking moment I was going to destroy him tomorrow. And you know, I ended up doing it, and I had more fun doing that contest than I'd ever had doing anything in my entire life. I had an absolute blast. I remember after the show coming home, for the next 6 months, I dreamt of the implements, the way they felt in my hands, the smell of the tacky, you know, the way it was boiling hot on this black asphalt as I'm flipping an 800-pound tire that's burning my skin as I'm flipping it. You know, all those little nuances, I just fell in love with it. And from that point on, I knew that strongman was my thing. You know, whatever else I had planned was out the window. I was going 100% strongman. You know, from a sport where I thought, "No, what are you, crazy? We never do that." to, I'm going to win World's Strongest Man, and I'm going to do it multiple times. I'm going to kick the shit out of everybody along the way.
Right. So that was 2002, that first show. And it wasn't a matter, was it like by 2005, were you competing in, international level competitions already? I mean, it was just a few years later then, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually. And to go back what you were talking about earlier with how much you can learn on the internet nowadays.
Yeah.
You couldn't learn that then. So what I did was I went to contests as far apart as I could so that I could go to different parts of the country and learn what those guys were doing and then put it all together. And I had a pretty good wealth of information stockpiled from competing. I did 11 shows before I did American Nationals, Amateur Nationals in 2004. And that's where I earned my pro card. But I had so much experience, and I competed against guys around the country, so I kind of knew who all the best guys were. So getting ready for 2004 Amateur Nationals, I knew I was going to win.
Yep.
And so I went out there and I got third on the first event and then won the next four and got my pro card and then started competing in 2005 as a pro and win international by summer of that year, I believe.
Yeah. So something on our list, and we're getting close to it in the time frame, is I don't know that either of us know the details on this exactly, but World's Strongest Man and IFSA, there was a little bit of a split there, and some people are doing one or the other. And were you competing in IFSA kind of more exclusively for a period of time then, before World's Strongest Man? Is that right?
Yeah, I was. So 2004, IFSA and World's Strongest Man, the TV show for ESPN, they had a little pissing match. And, the guys at the top said, we'll just take our toys and go and whatever the hell. And you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But so IFSA had the series of contests, and they had bigger prize money, and they had all of the top athletes except for Marius Pujanowski.
Okay.
And so IFSA was, they were the top. They were the best of the best.
So that's what I wondered, is how you made that decision. So that's a big part of it then, A, prize money, and B, competitive. That's what a lot of the best competition was doing then at that point in time.
Yeah, I wanted to go where the top guys were. I wanted to put myself up against the best.
Yeah.
And I had competed against the American guys, let's say all of 2005, like Jesse Marundi.
Yep.
I beat him 4 times that year. And then he went to World's Strongest Man, and I went to IFSA. And just to give you an example of where the caliber of athlete was in 2005, and I'm not trying to dog on anybody, but the guys that went into World's Strongest Man in 2005 were new. And, as an example, Terry Hollins was one of them, brand new. Well, he came out later and became one of the best athletes ever. But just back to Jesse Marundi, he took second at World's Strongest Man, and I took 10th at IFSA.
Right.
It was the caliber was a little different.
Why did Pujanowski not go to IFSA? What was the deal there?
So it was a little bit of a political thing, from what I understand. They 2004, they took his third place away because he didn't want to sign a contract with him. So they basically, as I found out later, was they just said that he failed a drug test or something like that, and then stripped him in third place.
I was wondering how that shook out.
Yeah, politics, man. Yeah. I hate that shit. I've had my own run-ins with it too. So, but, fast forward a few years, 2008, IFSA has kind of fallen off because they had too many hands in the cookie jar, too many guys getting paid at the top. They couldn't keep it going. Everybody came back to World's Strongest Man, along with Colin Bryce running Super Series, which turned into Giants Live, and then Champions League that Marcel Moster was doing. And 2008 was a huge year because the guys who had done World's Strongest Man had enough time to develop, and then the guys from IFSA came back to World's Strongest Man, and it was a great battle. that year, all the way around between the two sides. And I mean, yeah, that was my first year getting 5th place in the final. And I always thought it was funny because they kept calling me a rookie, and I was doing so well for a rookie, but that was my 4th world championship.
Right. It's just that you had been doing IFSA prior to that. So 2008 was in the United States, and then is that right? And then then next year you went to South Africa or something, or Malta or something. 9 and 10.
Malta.
Yeah. So when you were back in World's Strongest Man, I got to ask you about this event because I watched a clip on it this morning, thinking about it again, and it just always sticks out to me. You'll know the year. It's either 2009 or I think it's 2010. But you're in the pool doing that sandbag loading medley, and like that to me always sticks out as just one of the most iconic World's Strongest Man events. And I don't know if they've ever done it another year like that. How miserable was that event?
Well, I was in pretty good cardiovascular shape that year because I had lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I think I was something like 285 or something in the finals. So I was streamlined, I was fast, and I puked my guts out after that.
Aren't you going to get head-to-head against Terry Hollins in that one too?
Yeah.
And he weighs like 400 pounds there. That would be terrible.
You know, he weighed more than the sandbag full of water. I weighed like 20 pounds less than the sandbag. Because, you know, on TV, they say they were 264 pounds.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask you. They say 264. What do you think? Like, I'm like, yeah, 264. There's sand completely soaked with water. There's no way that's what those weigh. Like, I'm sure nobody knew what they weighed even.
No, they didn't measure them after that, but they did make sure to soak them for hours before we started that event, so that there wasn't any.
The first guys,
no advantage,
right? Yeah,
exactly. If anything, the guys who went in the last heat had it better because the sand kept draining out with the water.
Right.
I always say they had.
Was that one of the more grueling events you've ever had to do then?
I would say it. Yeah, I would say it probably was.
Yeah.
Ones that usually get me the worst, other than loading medleys, are like a log clean and press, or some kind of a medley with a tire flip that finishes with a sled drag.
Okay.
Those are just miserable. I haven't seen sled drags in a while, and and I knock on wood. I don't want anyone to hear me and start bringing them out. Those suck, man.
Yeah. And that didn't Brian, it ended up costing it.
That was when he dropped the bag, wasn't it?
Is that not right? And it kind of, by the end of the show, whether it would have shaked out the same or not, it kind of cost him winning, didn't it?
Yeah, well, Brian made the mistake that it was almost a rookie mistake. When you're loading something onto a box that was not very big like that one, you push the implements all the way on. You make sure that you push them way back and you make room for the other one. And he didn't make room. So he threw the bag on and it fell off. And then he ended up in a tie with Zadrunas at the end and lost on account.
Right. Okay. So then you mentioned your broken ankle. Was that 2010 or what year was it?
That was the same year.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the same
was that year.
That was about, it was, so the next event was a keg toss. I think Zadrunas got second or first. Brian was first or second. They were about a second apart, and I was about a half second behind them. So we were tied for first, I think, going into the long press, which was the third event, which the log would have been my weakest event, but I was having a great day with it. I just remember somewhere at around 400 pounds, I got pushed forward, or a little bit forward with the weight, and so I pushed the log out in front of me just a little. And it's something that I do a lot, so I know to kind of bring it back in and then use the shock absorption, the stretch reflex to just power it back up, and then I get a better angle on it. And so I was trying to do that, but my left foot caught a little bit of a gap between the mats, and I didn't get my foot under me in time. And when the log came down, my foot was in a weird position, and it just rolled out and snapped aside. So Yeah, I tore one of the peroneus muscles off the side of my foot and took a good chunk of the bone with it. That was probably one of my most painful injuries.
But then the kicker is, how many events did you continue to do after that?
Well, that was the third event of day one. Thankfully, and this is the best part, is I had all night for that thing to swell up and hurt like hell and then not get any sleep and just be miserable going into day two, where we had to start with an 800-pound frame carry.
Did a lot of guys think that you were probably done once you broke? I mean, I can't imagine a lot of people were like, oh yeah, Travis is going to be here for day two. Were they?
I think those guys that won the final weren't surprised. They've competed with me enough.
I suppose.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a nice guy. I'm a pretty smart guy. But I got a few screws loose. So, when I'm hurt, I become, like an animal backed into a corner. And logic kind of goes out the window, and all it is survival and kill everything I can. And that's what I was going with that day. It was just pure hatred and piss and vinegar.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, I beat Derek Poundstone on the frame carry with a broken ankle. I love giving him shit about that. Derek's one of my favorite people. I love that guy. He's a total badass.
Well, and there was as far as American Strongman goes, there was a really good group of you guys at that point in time with between you and Derek, and then Brian starting to come up, and I'm sure others in there too, but it was just a really strong group at that point in time.
Yeah, it was. It was a real breakout group. We, I think Brian came around just after IFSA dissolved, but Derek and I competed in IFSA. I think he qualified for IFSA World Championships in 2006, but had that real bad back injury. Yep. And then we competed in IFSA in 2007. So we had a good rivalry for a long time. And then Brian came up and really started to put out in 2009. I think that was his first year qualifying for the finals. And, he's such a big dude. It just took him a few years to kind of grow into his body. And then once he did, he just kept going with it. The guy's a monster, and he's really, one of the things that I'm most impressed with about Brian Shaw is his ability to, let's say, maintain composure. And I don't mean that in a contest setting. I mean that in a light setting. He's just really good at going back to the grind and then working and working and hitting it again next year and not letting life get in the way at all. There's no turmoil. There's no upsets. You know what I mean? He stays flat, level-headed, very focused. And it's really hard to stay that focused and do so at such a high level for such a long time. So I'd say, more so than his strength, that's what impresses me about Brian Shaw.
Yeah, that makes sense. And talking about that, so we're kind of walked through early 2000s up through now 2010, 2011. You had that broken ankle and some injuries. And then, for a point in time there, you weren't competing, or I don't know if you were really training strongman now for a while there. And now I would say Tommy and I were talking about earlier, are you as strong now as you've ever been? I mean, you kind of look physically as imposing as you ever have, I would say, are you as strong as you've been at any point in time now, or are you coming close to that point, do you think?
You flatter me. I appreciate it. I would say that right now, I think I'm stronger than I've ever been. I think my pressing is down just a little, but I had that shoulder surgery a year ago, so I'm still building that up. My raw power, though, deadlifts, I'm stronger than I've ever been. Squatting, I'm stronger than I've ever been. I don't think I'm quite as fast on the moving events, which is something I'm trying to work on now. But, training for speed is so much different than training for strength. I was always so fast before trying to get stronger. Now I'm pretty strong. I got to remember how to be fast again and put all these pieces together. But yeah, you brought up the little gap in my history. I did a long talk with Lawrence Chalet on that, and I'll spare everybody the hour of details on that, but it was a really bad time in my life, and I screwed a lot of things up. Let's just say I screwed everything up. And people asked me if I was training during that time. No, I wasn't training. I was just basically I was living in hell. And I now know, just on that note, hell, when people talk about hell, they always say, it's fire and brimstone, they're going to torture you, and you're going to be in this physical pain, and that's such bullshit. That's such bullshit. Hell is not a physical place. Hell is inside your mind, and you're the only one who can take you there if you choose to go. And so I've walked through hell, and I felt what that kind of torture really is, and it sucks, man. Let me tell you. I lost myself in it. But during that time, I didn't train. In fact, my head was so screwed up that I couldn't stand the thought of training. Mm-hmm. And I'm a kid. I was 11 years old when I mowed lawn and saved money all summer to buy my first weight bench because I just wanted to work out. I even went in the kitchen and I took my mom's broom and sawed the handle off, and that was my first bench bar. So I went from passion and living and this being my world to not even being able to walk into a weight room. I couldn't stand it. And there's a variety of reasons, but remember what I said with my first contest when I weighed 227 pounds. I remember at some point during the darkness, kind of having this talk with myself and like an honest assessment of how long is this going to go on? How long is this going to last? When can we get out of here? And that little voice that pops up in the back of your head sometimes, it popped up for me and it said, well, you're going to start over. And I knew exactly what that meant. I didn't have to ask. It meant I was going to reset to where I was at before I started training for Strongman. I was going to get a second chance to do it all over, but I had to do everything wrong to get to that reset point. And in January of 2016, I walked into the gym for the first time in 4 years, and I weighed 227 pounds on the dot.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. But then, I worked out, and my head was clear, my heart was clear, and that workout, even though it was kind of pathetic and it was a little physically miserable, I felt so good after that. It reminded me of what I had before, and then I had this moment of gratitude where I remembered who I was. I remembered my purpose, and my purpose was so much greater now than it was in my first life. I had to crash and burn and burn the whole world around me and then rise from those ashes. And that I have a new purpose in life. And, it gives me something to live for because, here's an interesting thing about athletes that I found during that time. And I saw this for the first time on, was it Real Sports on HBO? They were talking about pro athletes, and after they retire, these guys would look in the mirror and they don't recognize the person looking back at them. And I felt that. They also said there's something like a 75% divorce rate from pro athletes once they retire. Well, I've been divorced. I lost myself, and I realized what it was these guys, they lost themselves. You've got all of your life where you're pouring your heart into something, and then all of a sudden that thing is gone, and now you're left with this giant vacuum where, the easiest thing to suck into it is self-destruction. But, I figured things out, and I started to fill that void with purpose. And I don't mean to get too long-winded here.
That's
It's just something that I'm passionate about. It's finding a purpose in life. It can be lifting weights, but what is it going to be when that's not the only thing? Where does that take you? And for me, Strongman was the only thing. But in my rebirth, Strongman is a means to a greater thing, where I can use this as a platform. And I'm still going to go as far as I can because I absolutely am passionate about this sport. I fucking love it. But now I can reach so many more people who may not have passion in their life, who may be lost, it's such a common thing for people that really just go to work day in, day out. They hate their job. They hate their life. They mow the lawn on Saturday because that's what they're supposed to do. Then they drink all night because they don't have anything else to do.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to trash anybody who wants to friggin' drink on the weekends. More power to you if that's what you want to do. But if you're doing it as a way of just escaping reality, then, we need to talk because we need to fill that with some actual reality. And, purpose, when you got a sense of purpose, it makes life worth living. And then people around you get charged up by that. And I mean, that to me, that's the greatest feeling out there. If I can impact somebody else's life and get them to realize the gift that they have by actually being alive, that's it for me. I love that. And I know that that's why I went through what I went through, to try and bring something good to the rest of the world. And I'm not trying to get too far into it. I know I can go all day about it, but that's just a sense of where I've gone for the last few years. And I take that into the gym and I try to make myself a little bit better every day, and it doesn't always happen. Obviously, I post about that on Instagram. I let people know that, it's not all PRs and new records. It's a lot of bashing my head against the wall and throwing tantrums with myself and then being grateful at the end of it that I get to have tantrums and I get to have bad days because, that's just part of life. And it's too easy to get wrapped up in, I had another bad day, and then letting that beat you down. And then when that beats you down, having another bad day on top of it. So I try to show that the bad days lead to even better days. If you can make it through, if you can wade through that, kind of like shit. It's kind of like that 2010 World's Strongest Man sandbag loading.
Yeah, that's right.
Wade through that shit.
Yeah.
If you can suck it up, you get the sandbags up there, and then all of a sudden you're finished and you win. Yeah, that's a hell of an accomplishment. It feels really good to get to the other side of that.
That's right. No, I think that's a good message that you shared. And, it's true. There's nothing that any of us can do about the past and things that are in the history, but I think you're doing a good job of kicking ass now. And I mean, at least from our perspective, that really shows. And I think that's cool to a lot of people.
Oh man, I appreciate that. I'm really just a guy who's grateful that he gets to go out and have fun doing what he loves. And I just want other people to have that same feeling. That's what it boils down to.
Right on.
It just so happens that I love to go out and kick the shit out of some weights and then compete and kick the shit out of my competitors.
Yep.
And then that's just, I love to do that. But,
yeah. Well, and speaking of competing, we like to finish it towards the end of it with every guest. We have a little game we like to play. It's overrated, underrated. And I don't know if you're very familiar with it, but what we do is we've got a little series of topics that we've picked for you. And with each one, you just have to decide if it's overrated or underrated. And you just got to remember, you can't ride the line in between. You've got to decide overrated, underrated, and you can explain it out however you want to.
Okay, all right. So overrated, underrated is like a 1 bean, and overrated is like a full 3 beans.
Right. Right. Yes. 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 Okay.
Yeah. I've listened to the show a couple times.
Okay. Okay. Good. You know it then. All right. Good. Okay, but we did pick we did pick these special for you here too. So these are special Travis topics. Yep. Okay. So
anyone listening, don't get offended on my answers or the way I discuss my opinions.
Oh, trust us, people.
Disclaimer out there.
People are going to be offended.
But you know what? People should be offended. It builds character.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep, that's right. Okay, so topic number 1, Mikhail Kolkalev as a strength athlete.
Underrated. He is the single most disgustingly talented human being on this planet. He is. I named my son after the guy. He is so amazingly gifted at any freaking thing that he does. It's irritating sometimes. He picks up a guitar, he starts playing it. He goes to a piano, he starts playing it, and then he's singing and he's dancing while he's playing it. And it's in German, or no, it's in Russian, and it's in English, and then he's telling jokes in English that nobody understands, but you laugh because he's laughing, and it's just fucking funny. And then, as far as his physical talent, well, enough said. He's been third at World's Strongest Man. He was second at the World Championships. He has records. He has, national level Olympic lifting records. He's got, I think he has the all-time highest super total with snatch, clean and jerk, squat,
he does.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
I think he's got Mark Henry beat by a little bit on that.
Oh, yeah, dude, without it. That doesn't even surprise me.
Yeah.
I remember the night before my first World Championships in 2005. We were out looking at some of the equipment, and they're like, Misha, the Canadian record for the snatch is 173 kilos or something like that. And so he says, yes, I break his record. And they put 174, he warms up, he gets to 175 kilos. And just knocks it out the night before we start competing. And I'm like, that's disgusting. And I think he took third. He took third that year. He was just a freak. But then if you ever get the chance to talk to that guy, take it because you're going to have a good time. He's such a delightful human being. So even though he's as highly rated as he is, you can never be quite
underrated.
Rated
yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. We knew you'd have something good to say about him. That's cool. Overrated or underrated? And we talked about that event, but just in general for training, overrated or underrated sandbag carries, training with sandbags.
Training with sandbags, I would say, is underrated because they suck. They just, they're awful. They're awful. And anything that's that awful has got to be good for you. It's like a big bowl of Fiber Bran or some shit cereal like that.
Yep.
It's got to be good for you. It's so bad. But, they're so versatile. You can press them. You can load them like a stone. You can carry them. You can shoulder them. There's just a lot you can do with a sandbag that'll make you just brutally strong.
Yeah,
definitely under.
Seeing that you've been messing around with like a 400-pound sandbag here lately, that sounds pretty ridiculous.
Oh, you don't even bring that up. That thing is awful. It slapped me and called me a little bitch, and I'm really, I'm currently hurt. My pride is injured. I'm gonna have to get that thing before America's Strongest Man.
So, America's Strongest Man, that's something we didn't talk about yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so we were, before the show, we were talking, can you kind of give us the rundown on what the deal with America's Strongest Man is? Like, you see, Europe's Strongest Man seems to be a pretty big premier strongman event. America has a lot of good strongmen, but it seems like as far as events go, America's Strongest Man just kind of flies under the radar. What's the deal with that?
I think there's a couple factors. Europe is definitely more of a individual sport type of market where they like cycling, they like swimming, they like, track and field. They like individual sports. And America is very much a team sport. And not even team sport, just baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah.
Baseball, basketball, football. It's the same old shit all the time. It's just, the three sports are so damn boring because it's all they talk about. So I think that's part of it. I think a lot of it is also just promoting. Colin Bryce and those guys, they found the niche, and Darren Sadler, they found the niche, and they just maintained that pressure, building it up just a little bit here and there.
Well, and they're good at it too.
Exploded. Yeah. They had a couple guys. They really built the story up. So you got the drama behind a couple guys like Eddie Hall who build the story up themselves. And they just went and ran off of it. They created some rivalries. There's a little bit of shit talking in there. And the people get behind that, then they start to develop who's a favorite. Who do they not like? Who do they want to see win? Who do they want to see get their ass kicked? Then that's when you start to build the fan base, because, if you're a fan of everybody and everybody's always a fan of everybody, then it can only go so far. But this year, the guy promoting America's Strongest Man, he's also promoted War on the Shore, and I remember emceeing for him, I think, at his very first contest in San Diego, and he had like 115 athletes. He ran 5 different lanes, and it was one of the smoothest, most well-run competitions I've ever been to in my life. He's so well organized. You can find him at Iron Resurgence on Instagram.
Okay.
And I think that he'll do a great job promoting it. It's in Savannah, Georgia now. I guess he moved from San Diego to Georgia last year. But give him a couple years of consistency, and I think this guy could actually build it up pretty big. I think the only thing that would be missing is you need some TV contacts. And once we get that, the sky's the limit. I think he's a great promoter.
So are you planning on competing there then? Is that?
Goddamn right I am. Hell yes. I can't wait.
When is that then?
November 7th and 8th.
Oh, shit.
So right around the corner.
So like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's coming up fast, man.
Okay.
Believe me, I know. It's weighing on me heavily. I got my events list on the fridge right on top of my destroy list, which is something I've been doing since 2003. They post the names of the competitors that you go against, and I write destroy at the top of that list, and I read through it every time I open the refrigerator. Destroy. I could name off all 15 guys that are in it besides me.
Awesome.
I've run through it so many times in my head, but yeah, I can't wait, man. It's going to be nasty. That's the 400-pound sandbag that I was trying to pick up, a week or two ago, is the 4th sandbag in a loading medley.
Okay.
And that's the last event.
Ooh.
It's a 300, a 330, a 360, and then a 400
Brutal.
to a 52-inch platform. Yeah.
Damn. Oofta. Well, we'll be excited to watch you then. We'll be rooting for you.
I didn't know that was coming up. That's going to be a lot of fun to see.
I'm excited. It's been like a year and a half since I've competed. With the shoulder injury putting me out so long. So I'm a little nervous and I'm a little excited.
Good. Yeah. We'll be
Can't
excited.
wait.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, we talked about some of the different places you've traveled to over your strongman career. I don't know if we're from South Dakota. We don't get out of here very much, so we don't know a lot about these places. So overrated or underrated South Africa?
That's kind of a tough one. I think if you've got an awesome group to be with, and some people who know the area really well, it is underrated. But if you were to try and go there by yourself as a tourist and you had no idea what to expect, it would be hell. It'd be very difficult.
Yeah.
I'm sure, the cities would be okay to be in, but to try and go out anywhere, you would need to speak the language. You definitely need a guide.
Yeah.
As far as how it was for us,
yeah.
I'd say overall the experience was underrated. I mean, I got to pick up a 6-month-old lion, and then because I had my son with me, my ex-wife and my son was 10 months old, he couldn't go in the lion enclosure because he was like snack food. So
right.
So because of that, we got to go see the lion cubs that were about 6 weeks old, or maybe 4 weeks old, something like that. And so what was normally a $500 extra little treat, we got to do for free. We got to go in and play with these cubs. And I don't know if you've ever held a kitten, but they can't pull their claws in for the first month or so of their life. Now, just magnify that kitten into like a full-grown house cat that can't pull his claws in.
Yeah.
And they're sharp as crap. I had some good scratches from me. Man. I looked like I'd been in a hooker in a whorehouse down in But it was a lot of fun, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I think I can expand on that question. You know, as far as travel with Strongman, I think it's underrated. I think guys go, they want to do the contest, they get wrapped up in it, and then they go home the next day. I used to do that. I think it's so important that if you get to go to a contest that's anywhere else, make the most of it. Take pictures, immerse yourself in it. And when I say, and even submerge yourself in it. And I say that because we went to a cave in Serbia. And it's some giant famous cave, and it's got these, you know, rock formations from water. And so there's a little trail that goes through the cave, and there's a big pool on the side of it. Now, I love cold water. So I stripped down, and I got in the water. You know, it just felt like it was going to be magic. So I went swimming. And apparently, the security guard said in his 20 years of working in that cave as a security guard, he has never once seen anybody get in the water. So I mean, you know what? You know, life gives you experiences, man. Dive in. Yeah. Enjoy that. Who cares if you got worms when you come out?
No, that's awesome. Okay. So we like our fine dining restaurants, and but we are limited. There again, we're from South Dakota. We have some limited options, but we know you're.
I didn't know people actually lived in South Dakota. You know, I thought it was the place you drove through on the way to somewhere else.
We're just here to give directions when people are driving through. That's what we do.
Next time, Travis, next time you're on your way through Northeast South Dakota, make sure to let us know, and we'll have you stop over, and we'll show you a good time.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Okay. I hear we're in the list for America's Strongest Man in the next 5 years.
Yeah, somewhere in like 2021, 2022.
Destination hotspot. I love it.
I can almost guarantee you, though, if they did it in Aberdeen, they would have a very good turnout. People would show up for that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a fair point. That is a very fair point. We did America's Strongest Man in what was it? It was some little town in Arkansas, and it was one of the best crowds we've ever had. It was like 1,500 people there. Yeah. Absolutely, man.
No, that's cool. Okay, so talking about fine dining joints in the Southwest, so overrated or underrated Jack in the Box?
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. All right. So I got a quick story about Jack in the Box. I got
good.
About it. Yeah. I was desperate. I was so hungry, and I was still a couple hours away from where I was trying to get to. I was trying to drive out to the bay, and it's like a 5-hour trip. And I was just starving, so I pulled over. I'm like, I'm going to get what I used to get at Jack in the Box, years ago, and it's the double meat bacon burger with I would get sourdough bread on it. So I order this. I go in. I sit down. I got my fries. They smell great. This burger, well, it doesn't look as good as the picture, but it looks good enough. Whatever. And then my things of ketchup, and I take a bite. Nothing. It was like freaking sawdust. I take another bite. Nothing. I take a bite of my French fries. Nothing. The only flavor I had out of that meal was sticking my finger in the ketchup and making sure that my taste buds weren't screwed up. What in the hell have they done? I can't eat this. And then, of course, half an hour later, I had to pull over because I threw it up. So yeah, apparently my body doesn't like fast food. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Jack in the Box is highly overrated.
Okay. Well, that's for good reason then.
I'm sorry if I've offended any fast food fanatics out there, but yeah, you shouldn't eat that. It's not real food.
No, that's probably good advice. Well, that wraps up overrated, underrated. That was our most important one. We always save the best one for last, and you crushed Jack in the Box, I think. So
good. That was a great finisher.
Yeah. We otherwise I was going to touch on, maybe you want to mention you do coaching through your website too, right?
I do. I've got a few different methods with how I do my coaching, but I got something basically for everybody. You beginner strongman trying to learn the ropes, up to elite athletes trying to prepare for a big show. But I also do powerlifting training, whatever you want. I like to work with people, and I like the reward that comes from watching others' success, especially when you've had some small part in that. It's one of my favorite things. So I absolutely love coaching.
Yeah.
If people want to get a hold of me, they can go to TravisOrtmeyer.com or Travis_Ortmeyer on Instagram. Either way, man, just hit me up.
Right on.
Awesome.
Hey, and you definitely should be following on Instagram. It's good to see the ridiculous stuff he's picking up, and like you said, you look like a brick shit house anymore. So
it's just a bunch of simple. That's all.
Hey, it's working.
Too kind, man.
Awesome, man. We really appreciate getting to have you on, and
thanks a lot, Travis.
we'd like to catch up with you again sometime if it works out for you.
Hey, absolutely, man. I had a great time talking to you guys.
All right, and don't
it was a couple of years ago when I met you at that booth at the Arnold.
Yeah,
I had a great time meeting you guys then. You were really cool. You gave me one of your shirts, and then you were even cooler because that shirt was stolen from me.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Came and stole that shirt. They stole my favorite hoodie at the same time. I was so pissed. And then you guys sent me a new one.
That's
and it
right.
is one of my absolute favorite shirts. So I just want to say thank you guys for that, man. I love that.
You're just lucky that it wasn't lift shorts and someone didn't steal those, because you'd be in a world of hurt there.
I was going to say, man, thank God it wasn't the lift shorts. I'm still saving up for a pair someday.
Hey, someday.
This coaching gig goes well enough. Maybe I can save up this.
Well, maybe if
anybody listening,
maybe
they need to get me as a coach so that I can build up my clientele, so that I can save my pennies.
There you go.
For a pair of those fancy blue lift shorts. Now that was
now, those cost extra now. So.
Oh yeah, that blue pigment. That's oil.
It's not something you find every day.
I know.
I love it, man.
All right, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Travis.
Hey guys, great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
I wish you all well. And I'll talk to you again soon.
You the man. Good luck at America's Strongest Man.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. I'll take all the luck I can get.
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye.
See ya. Travis Ortmeyer.
Yeah. What if you could summarize that interview in, 2 words?
Somewhere between 1 and 3 words.
Yes, 1 to 3 range of words.
Like a number between 1 and 3. I think I'd say cool beans.
Yeah, cool beans.
Cool.
What
beans.
did someone say? They gave it 3 because we were saying would you say cool beans or cool beans? And someone said cool beans. Cool.
Really flipping the script on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool beans. Though.
Travis has a lot of experiences.
He
I
does.
Feel like we didn't even get into
we
a
did.
smidge
And
of those.
Just the only time, my only interaction with him was he was going by us at the Arnold.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's Travis. And you said, and he came over and he talked to us and he was really nice, but we didn't get a chance to talk to him much. But he's got all types of stories.
That was a longer interview than our average ones are. I would say.
I didn't even realize.
I still feel like we talked, we usually have a little list of questions and stuff. We really didn't talk about most of them because he just has a lot of experiences and a lot of cool stuff.
Yep. And I feel like that was also in a time where it was like, you just didn't see inside as much as to what was going on. Like you saw what was on TV when it was on TV and that was it.
Right.
And so like, there was all this behind the scenes stuff that you just didn't really know about.
Instagram didn't, that's where you see that stuff now is Instagram and people's YouTube channels and wasn't a thing.
Yeah. That was really cool hearing everything you had about that. Had to say about that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
Cool beans.
We should have got him to talk more shit about some of those old competitors too, like dog on the ones he really didn't like. Asked him too much about all the good guys.
Yeah,
been like, who sucked?
That was a problem. He was way too positive in that interview.
We need to do a better job from now on, bringing these interviews down into the dirt. Yeah. Adam from Garage Gym Lab.
We almost got him.
Yeah. He wouldn't quite talk shit on it. We couldn't get Travis really to rag on any early 2000 strongmen. From now on, we got to get people to dog on people better and get those sound bites that we need.
Really build up that drama.
Yeah. Do we want to hear from our sponsors one more time?
I really want to hear from them. I'm curious who they are this week.
And you're all in luck because I've got something to say about all four of them.
Perfect.
Today's show was brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They are your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. They have dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, and you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. We have a discount over there. It's MASS, M-A-S-S, in all caps. That'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of your membership. This episode is also brought to you by Texas Powerbars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more and to buy one of the legendary bars, visit TexasPowerbars.com. And today's show was also brought to you by Lifting Large, of course. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they're always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. Tommy, what do you think about usually when I'm going through the ads?
Different things at different times. I was like, damn, I'm kind of tired right now. I was realizing how late it is.
My God.
I don't think
10 p.m.?
I don't think we've ever not been done recording at 10 p.m.
I should have been in bed 2 hours ago.
That's actually what I was thinking is we had kind of a sick kid this week. I was like, I think I've been sleeping by like 9:15 every night this week.
Yeah. By 10 p.m., if I'm not in bed, I'm like pretty well in bed mode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we better just shut up. You can make sure to like us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our newsletter through our website.
We got emails going out.
Leave us one of those podcast reviews because we're reading those again. So leave us a review. Probably best thing you could do and cool beansiest thing you could do is sign up for our podcast supporting membership. That's on our website in our normal shop. It's about halfway down. You click there, you can sign up. There's 4 different options. You can be a 99-cent apple pie level supporter, a $3 LaCroix level supporter, a $6 Lift Shorts level supporter, or a $20
Platinum Club
level supporter. So do that. Tommy, where do they find you on Instagram?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can find me at Tanner_Baird. Much more importantly, find us at Massenomics.